I was supposed to hit done. So. But now it's live.
Okay, we're ready? You need that one too, or you got it?
Recording in progress.
All right, everyone, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. This is City Council, Monday, July 13th, 2026. Roll call, please.
Darren Miller. Here. Eric Sarai. Here. Jim Mazias.
Here.
Molly Sigler.
Here.
Becca Robleski.
Here.
Don Benson.
Here.
Jared Trimbo.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Next will be the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item is approval of minutes from June 8th City Council. Would anyone care to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Don. Any questions, comments, or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is approval of monthly expenditures.
So moved. You make the motion.
Motion by Darren,
Second.
second by Eric. Roll call vote, please.
Jared Trimbo.
Yes.
Don Benson.
Yes.
Becca Robleski.
Yes.
Molly Sigler.
Yes.
Jim Mazias.
Yes.
Eric Sarai.
Yes.
Darren Miller. Yes. All approved.
All right, monthly expenditures are approved. Next item is public comment. Is anyone here, either in person or online, that would like to speak during public comment? Seeing and hearing none. Nobody online either, Tony?
Doesn't appear so.
All right, we will move on. Mayoral announcements, proclamations, and appointments. I'll start out with announcements. The first is just an update on the administrator hiring process. We have 5 semifinalists that we have video interviews for that will be reviewed tomorrow during a personnel and finance committee meeting, special meeting at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And at that meeting, that list should be narrowed down to 2 to 3 finalists that will then be in person for their interviews and doing a tour of the city, et cetera. And hoping everyone is available for that on Tuesday, the 21st, that afternoon, as many of you as possible anyway. So mark that down, and that is exciting as the process continues. I also have a few other notes. There is a DOT public information meeting coming up on Wednesday, July 29th at 5:30 at the Washburn Public Library. And that is regarding side street projects that will occur along with Bayfield Street Phase 2 project scheduled for 2027. No action will be taken, but that information will be posted on Facebook likely tomorrow. So save the date, Wednesday, July 29th, 5:30 p.m. Public information meeting about side projects.
And how, is that different than the last one that was?
Yeah, it's so it's with our contractor Ayers. They'll be coming back with some of the conversation, the points that were made at our last meeting. So they have a more set idea of what the plan will be.
So an update and further information and discussion?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, I want to mention that there is a public forum coming up. I want to say it's the 27th. I just had it pulled up and I forgot to write it down. It is Monday, July 27th, and I believe also an online version the next day, on Tuesday, July 28th, for understanding data centers and rural communities. I think maybe Extension is putting this on, potentially. Don't quote me on that, but just informational forum for people because it's such a hot topic and things are happening that it would be good to stay on top of. And they did add a second session because they were getting such a big response, I think, from people wanting to go to that. So I think they added the online session the next day. Information on that can be found at the Northern Great Lakes Visitor Center, their calendar on their website, nglbc.org. I believe also, I'm guessing Bayfield County's calendar should have that on there. So that's a good one to be aware of. And also lots of questions from people on what is happening at the DNR building. So I thought I would give a little update on that. So sounds like they're remodeling the original building. They did take down a lot of trees and they're putting up a 5-stall garage with drive-through stalls there. That's why they had to really clear that land out. They did save the one walnut tree that they will be using for some furniture in the newly remodeled building. So that beautiful walnut tree is not going to waste. And that is all I know about that.
Is there, so there's not entryways on the main street itself, it's like a pull through from like the alley?
I don't know.
No,
Only one pull through on Highway 13, but it's only the same width as what was in front of the old pole building, so it's like 20 feet.
Yeah, and I mean, I would just remind people that that goes to the planning commission, and if it meets all of our codes, it does not come to council, right? Which is why some of us don't know about it, and so.
I don't even remember it, and I'm on plan commission.
So it must have been.
It was a while ago, wasn't it?
The state's exempt from municipal
They're
building.
from permitting,
From building.
essentially, not from zoning though.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's some questions about obviously pole barns on facing the street, right? Because we have other zoning regulations about what that looks like, but that's not in that zoning code as the cottage.
It's not the downtown
It's
business
not the
district.
downtown business, right? So just like, you know, I mean, there's definitely a lot of questions about putting garages on our main street, right? And that's not the downtown corridor, right? So thanks for bringing that up. I think it's important because people definitely are asking.
and part of the highway planning, which the DOT is putting in, is along that side of the street, there will be no on-side street parking. So they're removing that, so it's easier for the DNR vehicles to get in and out.
Okay.
Thanks for that, Tori.
So that is all I had for announcements, and then there is one appointment. However, I will be recusing myself from making this appointment because it is my husband that I would like to appoint to the library board. Because he is an avid library user and helps out periodically with projects that need to be done there. And so I would turn it over to Jen to.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, I think it's in your, you can see the application in your packet, for Mitch Motive, and has an explanation there of wanting to be on the library board, and we obviously have a vacancy. And so my recommendation is to, go ahead and appoint him with council approval, so is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Mitch for appointment to library board.
I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much. I thought I would have one other appointment tonight, however, you know, we've gone for so long without having any harbor commission applicants. Well, now we have 3. And so I did not have a chance, Nick, who's the chair of the harbor commission, was on vacation this past week, and so I did not have a chance to review those with him. So I will do that before the next meeting. and come with a recommendation for that. So when it rains, it pours. All right. Then we'll move on to our next item, which is discussion and action on certified survey map for tax ID 37605 at an unopened parcel South Fifth Avenue West. It says unopened, is there an address? Tax ID 37605 South Fifth Avenue West.
So this is one that we've been dealing with for a few years on the vacated South Fifth Avenue West. The city approved that vacation. We have done, I don't know, there is not an address yet because this hasn't been split yet. Residence is on lot 1 of this. The purpose of the city vacating South Fifth Avenue West, which occurred, it was finalized in March, was to make 2 buildable lots out of this lot. This CSM split now splits it into 2 official lots so that there can be a principal building on both. This has been sitting for a while until we could get the language finalized on the drainage utility easement, as well as the easement for roadway, which have now all been finalized, and this is just, I would say, ready to go. And this is what will allow, the whole purpose of vacating South Fifth Avenue West was to get a second residence on these, and this is what will allow that. I'm happy to answer any questions, because this one's been a lot of back and forth.
Bring it home.
Looks like it incorporates the roadway, is that correct?
So the back, go ahead.
Yeah, so lot 2, this is something that went back a long way. Lot 2, Wisconsin Street was actually laid out.
I think that's Terry, actually.
Wisconsin Street,
Terry, you're on here twice. I see it, your face with your name.
Sorry about that, I'm sure that.
so as Wisconsin Street was laid out, it was laid out outside of where these other lots were platted. Was a handshake deal forever. This lot still, the area of lot 2 that is over Wisconsin Street still is included as ownership of the underlying property owner. But there is what we have now, which was part of the process for getting their vacating Fifth Ave, South Fifth Ave West, was that Jerry Dolan has agreed and signed this express easement agreement for the city of Washburn. I had mentioned earlier, I don't think there's any way they could have prevented the city from maintaining its use of that road right away. But now this explicitly confirms it, puts it into writing, all those details. And that easement agreement that we have from Terry covers all of this hashed area that goes over Wisconsin Street there.
Okay.
So yes, the underlying title ownership is still with the property owner, but it grants it explicit use for City of Washburn to keep the roadway there, maintain it, do whatever's necessary for that.
Okay, so I would look for a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to approve certified survey map.
Motion by Sharon, second by Darren. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Terry, thank you for your patience in working with the city through this messy situation. And we're happy to see this moving forward so you can build a home. And I would assume that Tammy will get you whatever documents are necessary after the meeting tonight. Well, tomorrow.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right. Moving on, our next item is discussion and action on special event requests for Brownstone Block Party and North Coast Car Show. use of athletic fields, July 26th, and relaxation of open container on July 26th at West End and the athletic fields, and temporary extension of premises and relaxation of open container on July 25th at the Harbor Table, Washburn Chamber, and Jessica Mover petitioners. So this is all one day request for Brownstone Days weekend. That's tab 3 of your packet. It looks like they are extending the Sunday festivities to 2 locations, combined with the Sharp Tails baseball game, or is it just, yeah, I think there is a game. I think I might be throwing out the first pitch.
Yeah, I was just gonna remind you of that handshake deal.
So if anyone knows how to pitch a baseball, please let me know, because I need to practice. Daryl did a great job at the library day yesterday, throwing out the first pitch. And then his son was playing Grandview, so that was kind of fun. So we typically do most of this anyway, but some of this is new. Does anyone care to make a motion before, so that we can discuss, or?
Make a motion to approve.
Second that.
Motion by Jen, second by Jared. Questions?
So the normal, like I just don't know, like, I don't know what's being done either, like at the West End Park. Like I guess I was a little confused with having an open container policy at both. And one on July for West End Park, so it's like, is the barrel races and that stuff now gonna be moved to West End Park?
Yes, because of the bike park construction starting, they're moving it back to West End for the barrel races. Or the barrel fights, water barrel fights and the tug of war. And I spoke with Mark briefly on that to make sure that that was okay, and he said they can make it work.
Okay.
No problem.
I think well, maybe I don't know this, but it's pretty kind of gross down there with
With the goose,
with the goose. I just
Situation.
posted a volleyball practice down there a couple weeks ago, and
should get cleaned up.
I mean, it's gonna take some cleaning up if we don't want it to be disgusting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Noted.
I think that, do love it, but I'm just saying, like, people running around like, see what's it. It's freaking me out a little bit, the girls with bare feet, when a ball would roll, you know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
we love using the volleyball court, but when the ball rolls outside, we clean it, the team cleaned the court. But, that's my only concern, I guess, with switching it up is, I just think there's a lot of kids running around and stuff, it's just not. 100%.
Regardless of whether there's an event or not, it should get some attention, but especially.
It's hard to keep up on it.
Yeah.
So,
But for the event.
but for the event particularly, that would be my suggestion.
Just to clarify, and this is just to clarify, did we previously do the traditional relaxed open container?
I don't know.
You mean on Bayfield Street?
Yes.
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 Okay, that's what I thought, because this application has all of them again. Another one that's not in the checklist on the letter here is the exclusive use of the pavilion at West End for Sunday.
Sunday only, okay.
I don't think there's, just to make sure that any motion includes,
And that was already,
that was too. Okay, just making sure I know it's kind of a two-piece motion.
yeah, the new things are to use the fields, for the family day. And then the open container because of the barrel fights. And then the other one was the car show, at Harbor Table. And I mean, technically, I do have the approval to authorize the temporary extension of premise, which means that, so their premise is indoor inside the building. This gives them permission to have alcohol outside. But because it's part of Brownstone, they decided to put it on the agenda so the council can approve that as well, because it's a city event.
And then how come Wickdall is listed here as well on the application? I don't
So is that just for, that's just for use of the facility?
And that's what was previously approved, that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
confirm. That part was previously approved, the only thing that's outstanding still is this extension on the Sunday at West.
And the athletic team.
Okay, any other questions? Comments or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. And I assume the coffee sacks might have something to do, a line on coffee sacks?
I think they are getting a, I don't know, maybe it's been part of that. Yep. Not my world.
I'm not just saying sacks with you, wherever they came from. Discussion and action is our next item on position job descriptions for the clerk, treasurer, and administrative assistant. It's tab 4 of your packet. So I think some of the staff collaborated on some of these comments, and Ariana sent us a nice summary of those suggestions. I'm not sure, Tony, do these descriptions incorporate the suggestions? Or would it be?
These are what was provided by PAA.
Okay, so if we wanted to amend those,
The last one, I believe, was,
The administrative assistant has those included,
okay,
but the other two are not, right?
correct.
so we have, the administrative assistant has, oh, I see, that has the edits in red. So it might be a little bit of a complicated motion if someone does want to make a motion on these. Generally, the descriptions themselves are not changing based on these comments. I don't know if anyone has any other feedback or ideas on those, but I think the descriptions themselves are pretty good. It's just a matter of maybe tweaking the percentages and then adding those deputy duties to each of the positions. I'm not sure if, because of the wording of this, if we're even able to approve the actual organizational structure, or if we're just able to approve the job descriptions at this time.
Thought we were just approving the job description.
Yeah, I think we are, so, so we still have some time to talk about like the supervisory role and that sort of thing. So, does anyone care to make a stab at a motion for this?
But weren't some of these position titles dependent on the structure chosen? If I'm remembering correctly from the last meeting? And who they report to?
Yeah, sort of. So that's why I was questioning, you know, not being able to address the organizational structure. I think we can make the motion to be such that they're approved, assuming if the organizational structure is decided to incorporate those positions. That way we at least have the position descriptions ready to go, and we should try to keep this moving forward. So it would be good to have the descriptions at least approved.
Okay, I'll start with a motion, just for the city treasurer, deputy city clerk, and also for the city clerk, deputy treasurer position. Make a motion to, just to start with those two, to approve those position descriptions, you know, contingent upon them being, the organization chart being approved for those positions to be in that organizational chart and the supervisor.
With the addition of the
Oh.
deputy duties being added?
Yeah, with the addition of the deputy, duties being added. And we have,
The time percentages maybe being tweaked as well, or is that not as, that wouldn't, can always be adjusted, that's not, I don't think critical of the description, but it's up to you if you wanna include that.
yeah, I'll include number 4 with the, treasurer and clerk positions as noted in 4A and B for a start.
Okay. Does that motion make sense? You have that now, Tony?
Sure, yes.
Is there a second to
I'll
that
second
motion?
that.
Okay, motion by John, second by Jared. Questions?
I have one question.
Yeah.
When are we coming back to the structure?
That is a good question. I didn't have a chance to talk with Sean prior to the meeting today. He did call me earlier today, and then I was just too busy to get him call back before this meeting, but, I would assume would do that at our next council meeting, unless we can do it when we gather to do the final interviews. That could be an agenda item, because he'll be here in person for that, so it might be nice to be able to do that, but depends on how long that gets to be, and, so either then or at the August,
Because
council
we
meeting.
don't really have time to wait till we get a city administrator in place, because we wanna be able to at least advertise maybe one, right?
Yeah, as soon as possible.
So we can have some overlap and training.
Although, if a city administrator is chosen July 21st,
Right, and they're
At
here by
least-
September maybe,
yeah,
that
you
does
could
give us some time.
potentially even by the end of August, we'll see.
Yeah, that maybe give us, I would love for the city administrator to be part of that organizational chart discussion, if possible.
So at least they can be consulted at that point, because
100%.
we'll know who the person is by then.
Yeah.
So let's just plan on the August meeting, and that way that person could even attend remotely, we can have some discussions ahead of time.
But yeah, I think it'd be good to get that hammered out sooner than later.
Would there be any benefit to calling like a special session for everyone to get together with the staff, and with potentially even the administrator or the buyer, to sit down and hash this out in detail? Just, it seems that there's so many different details, we have a bunch of different percentages that may need to be tweaked one way or the other, and some responsibilities between titles.
I would say the job descriptions are pretty basic, they're really pretty well set. I don't know that there's needs to be a lot of discussion on those, because they're very typical job descriptions for a treasurer and a clerk. And it's not something that's, we still have to approve an ordinance, right? If we're gonna, once the organizational chart is approved, then we would have to create an ordinance. So there will be more discussion. But at least we could get one piece of the puzzle done. We can always come back to it if we really need to or want to.
We could always come back to it. It's not gonna be set in stone if we vote to approve these job descriptions.
Depends on what set in stone means.
So I think that the ones where, purpose of this, what we're doing right now is to hire people to work for the city. That's what we're doing these for, is to hire the people that we want. It's kind of a chicken and the egg situation. Do we do the job descriptions before we find the people we want, or do we find the people we want based on what we know and then tailor the job descriptions and the organizational structure to that? I would say there's nothing ever that prevents switching job titles after people are hired. But if it's a major shift in that, it might lead to someone that we hire wanting to revise their contract or quit or leave. That's why it's good to know, at least as close as we can, what we're hiring people for. So I don't think there's necessarily a requirement that we get one thing done before the other, but there is, from my understanding, that we need to be moving along on this and finding who we want to work for the city. And then we can make that fit within our organizational structure. From ordinance changes, there are some minor tweaks that have to take place. There are gonna be major changes to the ordinances if we went away from the city administrator position. But since we're keeping that city administrator position, any of the tweaks to the ordinances aren't any major overhaul of city operations. So I don't think that there's a need there to wait on that part.
And then more than just city ordinances, we have an obligation to have a clerk and treasurer as well. So in some sense, we have to approve some kind of job description for those specific.
The statutes have a default job description for city clerk and city treasurer, which essentially these job descriptions follow that. It's for any additional duties that we have with them that our ordinances are different than the statutes. So like city treasurer, probably all of these personnel administration, number 4 is not statutory duty. Backup billing for ambulance, utility billing, certain things like that are in excess of what the statutory duties are. For city clerk, I would say the cemetery position is not statutory duty. Zoning is definitely, that's the one that's the biggest difference from the statutory duty of the clerk. It's number 5 there, the zoning. But all the others are really what their statutory duties are. So that's, I think, where our biggest gray area of flexibility is.
I think one of the things we talked about last time.
Sorry, real quick, Jared has.
Oh, sorry.
I was just saying that personally, I would like to see if we approve these job descriptions, posting them as soon as possible. And I don't know how anybody else feels about that, even though we haven't gotten the structure down. Just to start getting some candidates down, so I just wanted to throw that thought out there and see what you guys thought about it.
Done.
In opposite of what Jared just talked about. One of the things that we talked about last time when there was no motions made and we all kind of all sat here was because we have current staff. And it was like, does any of our current staff, like, when we say things like, oh, current staff, you can apply for that position, you know? I feel like is there ways that current staff can say, I'm interested in X, and then we talk about it, and like, you know, what Max was just saying, about how you can adjust the position description according to what current staff skills and stuff they have to put into it. So there is 2 ways to go about this, and I don't think we've decided as a council which way we're going, but I think it's really important to kind of at least talk about our options, and I think that it's not easy, right? Because we have, you know, folks in this room that are, you know, that have given a lot to the city, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, apply for your job. And I get that we want the right people in the right positions, and we have to change our structure up a little bit because of different things, but I guess that's what I wanted to put in a little bit too, so.
I think that one of the things that these 2 job descriptions do in particular is separates the finance and treasurer duties from the clerk duties fairly clearly, and then switches, you know, the current treasurer has been the deputy zoning administrator. So it's just, it's clarifying those major things, because the way that this will need to go fairly quickly is if those are the 2 positions that we're gonna be hiring next, the clerk position needs to come on board and start learning those things, and then we'll need to hire a treasurer who will be able to come on board and start learning those things before Tammy retires. And so I guess I'm hoping that we can come to an agreement as to whether those major divisions of duties are what we're looking for.
And that was suggested from Tammy to separate out those 2 duties because it would be too difficult to put those into one position. So that does make sense, right, that those 2 positions.
One is really focusing on, all the monetary finance kind of things, and the other is clerk duties plus, like Max just said, the zoning portion of it, which is that is the support for the administrator whose primary responsibility is zoning, right? So the administrator will be handling complicated, big zoning things. And the clerk will be handling like, oh, you need a permit, here you go, here's a form, answer basic questions. Hopefully, might be a little more than that, assisting the administrator with what is needed, but if we can come to an agreement of those just basic descriptions, I think that would be super helpful in moving the process along. Did you have something else?
Yeah, I was just, to your point, I think option 4 was kind of tailored to the people, like what you're talking about, talking to who we have, putting their skills in. I think they kind of did that with option 4. So what we decided is that we needed something a little different than what those positions were. And that's what we came up with here.
Agreed, but we never quite solidified that and picked an option.
Sure, we didn't, yeah, we didn't ever pick
You know, so
option 3 versus 4, we could still pick 4.
Right,
Yes.
right, that's my point, is, but I agree that that option 4 was that, and, you know, to some extent.
Or we can go rogue. Would it, are we able to include current staff in this discussion without having to go before, or?
I think yes, because they're specifically included in the packet with these comments from staff, that allows them to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Can I
Ariana,
ask
do you care?
one quick question?
Yeah, go ahead, Becca.
So just on the, before we get to that, are we concerned that these percentages don't add up to 100%?
The ones that were suggested in the email?
Either of them, the city clerk, deputy treasurer, or
The clerk does. In the email from Ariana, those are the percentages that we're looking to change them to.
what are we looking at what is in our packet? Sorry, when I made my motion, I said that those 2 packets with number 3 and 4 included, had percentages. Okay, sorry.
So these percentages are
So
mostly a
these are-
guideline, right?
Correct.
They're not like,
Yeah,
It's not like,
right, I was a little,
It
I
has
was a
to be
little slow
exactly
with my motion, and I should have like been more description, but it was including 3 and 4.
yeah, and those do add up to 100%. And those are just guidelines.
percentages could change.
Ariana, did you have anything that you would like to say?
Do I have to use the microphone?
You should use a microphone, yes, please.
So to Jared's point, you essentially did opt out of option 4 by hiring or moving forward with hiring an administrator. So that negated that conversation. Now we're moving forward with this, and I mean, from my perspective, like there's no reason to leave the organizational structure open because we've already gotten the ball rolling. This is just like you're just delaying putting a title to it.
Because we took 4 off the table because the city administrator wasn't part of 4, that was a manager type of thing.
Well, yes, I suppose. It was divided out further than what we currently listed in that job description.
It's good.
So then we have our 2 treasurer clerk positions, and again, to Jared's point, like, I would not want to delay this. We need to use Tammy as a resource while she's here, and really, a lot of these things she's currently doing, so she's gonna be training both people, whether that's current staff or new staff. And then from my perspective, the sooner the better, because by the time you post an interview and somebody gets started, like, we're looking at October. Okay, any other questions for me?
Not until we get to the next one, and we talk about the different, that's why I didn't bring that one in with this one, I was waiting to talk about the administrative one.
So thank you for sharing that. Okay, any other questions, comments, or discussion on the current motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. motion on the other position description, do we have that listed in the, yeah, we do.
Can we have a discussion before we make a motion on it? You just wanna talk about budget.
I think we should probably make a motion.
Think about it.
So if it's something outside of the specific descriptions here, like budget, yeah, you can discuss that ahead of time, that's fine. But if it's something to do with the types of things that are actually in this, then you should make a motion first. But being the budget separate from this actual description, sure,
Okay.
that could be a discussion that leads into the basis to form a motion.
Okay, well then I'll make a motion to approve the administrative assistant job description with the edits that are noted in red at 36 hours a week.
Okay, so there's one, sorry, wait, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so motion by Jen, second by Eric. I just wanna know, in the general statement, it does list 20 hours in the initial paragraph there. So,
And then halftime and position title, so
Yeah.
it would be updated to reflect the 36 hours a week.
any questions on that motion?
My question was in terms of our budget and how much more that would add and just some discussion on that. There's no question that the work is there. And so we have an option. I mean, I trust the person who's in the position that says everything you have here is at a higher, like more hours than what's listed. So we either like take some stuff off the plate or reduce whatever, we go to 20, or we keep it as is and increase the time. And
and something. So when Kay was in the position, it was a full-time position. We hired Ariana and we moved down to part-time position. I'm not sure how the salary budgets has been put together, but when you look at the salary, I guess the pay range that you approve with the budget, the position on there, the dollar amount is for a full-time position. But assumingly it's not budgeted that way in the main budget. But just to point that out, it was a full-time position at one point.
and why did we go down to halftime? Do you remember?
I do, it was a cost saving measure and we hired out for the ambulance billing instead of doing that in-house, which took away some of the work for that position. But we all know that there's enough work.
Right.
To really still have a full-time position, so this is a little less than full-time, but
And when you have a part-time position, you don't pay as much for the
benefits.
benefits. So if it goes to 36, you pay for benefits.
Correct.
So that's another added cost. So I don't have a feeling without having somebody talking budget with me to know like what that means for us in the future for us to go to that.
We, I believe since Scott Kluger has left, we have been having this as at least 36 per hour job.
Right.
Right, is that correct? So at least the last 2 or 3 years, the budget has been for this to be as your motion called for.
Correct, but we haven't had the expense
Yes.
of a full-time city administrator and benefits there. So I just, when you put it all together, you have 2 positions, city administrator and this.
And I don't know that we need to take action on this particular decision tonight. It would be helpful to have the administrator involved in a discussion about budget and planning moving forward. And so right now, we have approved this 36-hour position indefinitely until at whatever time we change that. And so I think it's okay, even if we didn't want to vote on this tonight, and make that part of that budget discussion. because it is gonna be, I guess the other thing I wanted to point out is currently we are paying the other staff more to make up for the fact that we haven't had an administrator, and they've had to step up and do more work. And that will get adjusted with the new positions. So there's a lot of movement here, a lot of moving parts and pieces. I don't know that anything is critical at this moment in this position description, so it's up to you. If you have, and nothing you do can not be undone. You know, if you decide to move forward, great. If that changes, so be it, and that's okay too. Jared?
I just think that in the upcoming time, it will be important for at least 36 hours a week, especially if Mariana's still in the position, helping to train all these new people, still having to do all the new, it's gonna be a while before, if it ever does go down to a smaller position, it's gonna be a while. So I think making a 36-hour position from out of the gate would be.
I already have some extra job duties I have for Go ahead, Jen.
Right, but at some point, I would imagine before we advertise the clerk or the other positions, people would wanna know what that position entails, because that might make somebody's choice of if they're applying for different jobs or not according to what that is. So I don't think we can hold off too much longer if we're not willing to make a decision without knowing the whole budget story. So.
Well, to your budget point, like, okay, so we have these different org structures that we haven't decided on yet. Like, is it possible when we come back to that to see how a budget different, like how that looks for each structure? Like, can we look at it that way as well, as like another, to have like a little bit more information?
I don't know that a budget ties to the positions. Go ahead.
I think that when this was presented, the options they didn't have specific dollar amounts on the budgets because we don't know what people would agree to, but they had a general statement of within our existing budget or exceeding our existing budget. Option 3 was presented as within our existing budget. So I think that if that's the concern, you gotta move forward with hiring someone. And if you need to make budget adjustments after the fact or later or to other things, those are what need to be done. But there was a presentation, there was specifically one option that they said would increase our budget. I don't remember which one that was, maybe option 4.
Yeah.
But option 3, it was presented that it would be within the same general range at least.
Right, but was that with this position being 36 hours?
Yes. It was keeping the compensation for the administrative assistant approximately the same.
As what that position is currently being paid for 36 hours.
Correct.
I did not catch that for option 3. So,
I'll check.
you know what I mean? Because that was the whole thing of not adding a new position, right, for option 4.
Correct.
Because option 4 got us up to 4 full-time positions.
But, sorry.
And this will get us up to essentially 4 full-time positions. I'm just clarifying.
Almost, and just to clarify, the administrative assistant position is at a different pay level than the
100%.
other, like the proposed other position.
4, yeah.
So-
And then we didn't have that position anymore. Yeah, understood. Yep,
So,
thank you. It's helpful to just rehash this all because we've been through it quite a few times.
And there's a lot of time in between, so, it wouldn't hurt to just take action on this if everyone agrees with what's being presented. It can always be changed at a later date after discussion and budget figuring.
Yeah, good.
Anyone else, questions, comments? Ariana, anything else to add on this particular position?
Your particular position?
Your existing position?
So I'll just say that the difference with taking away Kay's ambulance billing to now is that we have a new website that, I mean, Joe helped some, but I primarily made the new website and now we have new ADA compliance requirements that are going to essentially make us redo much of the website. That's a big piece. I am also doing Harbor Commission, which Scott had been doing the majority, but now that's me. I also have been helping Tammy with elections, which hopefully the clerk will take some of that away. So it's not to say that this needs to stay at 36 forever, but right now, as it stands, the amount of work listed, it would be hard to do less than that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments, or discussion?
My question is, where are we at? I can't remember what.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the administrative assistant.
No, we did
with
first
the
one, the
edits.
third one with
Yeah,
the, with the
the
edits and 36 hours changes.
All right, so seeing no other questions after that, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much for your work on this, Ariana, really, really appreciate it, and Tony, I know you both worked on it. Very much appreciated. All right, progress. Next item is discussion and action on resolution 26-010 DNR urban forestry catastrophic grant application, tab 5 of your packet. Great job, Tony. Gotta love it when grants come through.
Yes, and then we were notified about it even before coming to the council meeting.
Right? And then also the pre-planning for the tree replacement. Great that we were able to get that included, so. Anyone care to make a motion on this resolution?
Motion to approve the resolution.
Motion by Jared, second by Don. Any questions, comments, or discussion?
Yeah, I think this is really awesome to have, to be reimbursed for a lot of the money that we've already spent for the tree removal. And then I would just say that if we have $10,000 for tree replacement, that's part of the whole picture, like, that we really need to
think about that.
We need to think about that, we need to have a plan for that, and that is not simple, right? And it's just gonna be the start of what we need to do. So I think at some point, we need to either throw that at the Parks Committee or have a special or whatever to figure out a plan for our community. I know you've been working on stuff too, but we need to figure that out. We need to make a process, we need to have a selection of trees, we need to have our spots, we need to have that dialed and blah, blah, blah.
Agreed. Eric.
It's kind of semi-related, but there is more DNR urban forestry grants that can help with that planning and stuff and inventory of what we already have. And since we haven't had one before, I talked to the urban forestry specialist last summer. We have a high likelihood of success in receiving one.
Great. So assuming we can get an administrator on board, that will be helpful in just kind of guiding that process, I think. So duly noted, absolutely we need a plan, and thank you for looking into that. I think that's a great idea to apply for some funds to help with the plan and make a process.
We can kind of dabble about it, and now I think we're probably gonna have to just start to trigger stuff, because.
Sounds good. Okay, any other questions, comments, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next and final item, discussion and action on resolution 26-011, declaring official intent to reimburse expenditures from proceeds of borrowing. Tab 6 of your packet, this is a necessary step in the process of doing our big borrowing and making sure that we stay paid up to date as we go, nothing unusual. Is anyone care to make a motion on that?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jared, second by Eric. Any questions, comments, or discussion? Talking big dollars here. All right, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And with that, our business is complete and we are adjourned.
Just say,
It's too soon. I got something else to talk about.
I need to
talk about this, huh?
Recording stopped.
And don't forget to hold the.
Rumors on adventure on some moving forever.
What's that?
Oh, not moving, just
Oh,
adding.
they're not
Okay.
moving.
That's what I thought, but I heard someone say today, that's gonna do moving forever, not being watched.
We would never be